Yo, we out here confounding.
We still out here confounding. The
Okay.
wise. Whoa.
You know that scripture that says God uses the foolish things?
To confound the wise.
Now be a fool for
Thing
Jesus.
one and thing two, or who
We'll
knows?
be a fool for Jesus.
I'll be a fool for Jesus. Hey, y'all still need
I think
Jesus.
we've proven that time and time again.
That y'all need Jesus. Oh, that we're fools for Jesus.
So I think probably the hardest time of our marriage was 2012.
His last week. Oh, yeah, 2012.
And
We've had many tribulations.
so
But that's how we entered the
that
kingdom.
whole year was like pretty crazy.
Yeah.
So we had a house foreclosed, and like we explained to the kids, they're like, oh, they took the house from us. No, we did not pay the mortgage. So then the bank took it back.
We paid a small portion of what they
And it was
agreed
really
to pay.
weird. Like every time we had the money, then you go and pay, and then you owe more, and it was what it was supposed to be, and so it was actually.
We got to stay there really cheap overall.
It was
If you
actually.
do the numbers.
It was actually the last week in March, the beginning week of April, and I made a blog post.
Oh yeah.
A while ago about the whole experience about how I
2 or 3
was
years ago.
pregnant with our daughter named Abigail, who we did not get to meet here. And so just kind of the night before, Brandon was like, we have co-op the next day, let's go camping. So we went to Cherokee, what's it called? The camping place?
KOA.
KOA. And
Great little creek there.
and
It was
then,
like 50 feet wide.
while we were there, actually miscarried and had a whole experience of going to a different place.
Locked in the bathroom at the camp house, kind of.
And passed out, and I passed out like 3 times, and every time I passed out, I went to this place where it was blue, and then you could see the silhouettes of like these little things kind of flying around. It was so peaceful there, and I mean, I knew that's where the baby was going, but and yes, it's Jesus in heaven and all that stuff. Don't freak out. And so,
It's just you don't really know what that means, so
Anyway.
we're learning slowly.
So, I actually ended up going to the hospital, and I hadn't been in the hospital in years because I had had 2 home births. Before then, it was a long time. They treated me like a princess there, and all that stuff. I remember they were taking me for the DNC. And it's funny because the Lord told me to read my journal the other day, and this is the thing I turned to. I'm like, oh, wow, that was this week 12 years ago, and it was always such a painful memory, and I had completely forgotten that was the week that all this happened. And I remember looking at the
Senior week.
the anesthesiologist when I was going for a DNC, and I was like, my husband and my kids are out there in a band, don't mess up.
I'm glad you did.
I'm pretty sure he loved me. But so then we came home. We got home on a Thursday. Dwight and Patsy came up. Brandon's dad, stepmom. They're so wonderful. They're probably some of the only people that have not let our confoundingness drive them away.
It's a fairly accurate
They're
statement.
pretty much
They're
friends.
just like, mm-hmm.
They're pretty much friends that stick closer than a brother. Thank you, Jesus.
Over the years, the confoundedness has confounded them less and less.
We love them so much. So we got home on a Thursday, and actually when we were coming home, and my sisters actually went to the house and cleaned and bought groceries. I completely forgot about that till I read my journal. Dwight and Patsy had come up to the campsite, helped us. They picked me up at the hospital after I'd gotten
Blood. She filled her body back up with blood.
blood transfusion and came home, and we were both just a mess. We should probably tell that story sometime.
Softballs. I'll just give you a hint.
So we get home, and I had been working with this lady over the phone over the past couple months about getting us in right standing with the mortgage. And I got a call on Friday saying, sorry, there's nothing we can do. We're selling your house. And it actually got sold on April 4th of 2012.
4-4, baby.
And so Abigail, the miscarriage I had with Abigail was actually a couple days before. It was somewhere between March 29th and March 31st. Sometimes my mind does that with dates. I'm like, oh,
3:30, baby.
And So, fast forward to June. Oh, well, the whole time between April and June, I'm like, okay, let's just pack up. Let's just, get ready and stuff. And the Lord was like, stand. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm like,
Oh,
on
Lord.
what? I'm like, what am I supposed to stand on?
Now, we were going to church then.
Yeah.
We'd started going back around 2010-ish.
Caleb was an infant and a baby carrier. He was born September 19th.
Yeah, but I mean, when did we go to church?
We started going back to church when he was born.
So a year before this, pretty much. Year and 4 months.
Uh-huh. And so I just kept hearing the handwritten ordinances.
The handwriting of ordinances that was against you was nailed to the cross.
And so, and it was just like a couple months of like, just stand, like, Lord, just let me go get boxes and put our stuff in boxes. He's like, no, stand. And I could just feel the tidal wave coming. I could just feel it coming.
So, I don't remember you wanting to get boxes back. I was working, so I'm totally oblivious probably. But I remember that we did want to stand, or felt to stand. And I think I was kind of like, we need to stand. And to me, stand meant...
Every time you hit the thing, it shakes the camera, just let you know.
Yeah, that's cool. Whoa. That's wild. Anyway, that was an echo of an earthquake. Just kidding. It's just me.
But we knew that like standing did not mean that the Lord was going to work it out.
Well, no, but I feel like the way it was in our mind was he said stand. So the only way that can make any good sense is that it'll work out on our behalf. And then when it didn't, we were clearly educated on different outcomes of standing.
I knew. I knew that just because it was like.
Well, you didn't communicate. You should have told. I've been trying to teach her to communicate for a long time.
He didn't listen. So I knew.
I'll kiss you. But you didn't.
That just because you stand does not mean that it's going to work out the way you want it to. You could be standing until you get knocked down.
Yeah, but it's easy to say that now.
No, I thought that during then.
Well, you didn't. Again, I'm just going to say you should have communicated. I can't. Where do you want me to get?
We're just like that. But also during that time, I kept having these.
See how this is like John the Baptist when he's got his camel. I know, babe, but when you're laying on me, I can't. I feel like I'm gonna turn sideways. So I slid over. Yeah, this was about marriage.
So every time
when we talked about it, I thought it was.
So I kept having dreams that we were going to move into this mansion, and probably like 15 or 20 dreams about moving into this really big house. And then,
hold on one second. In case you're wondering, our table has these ridges in it, and dirt gets in it sometimes. So I like picking it out. So I'm just listening and picking.
Squirrel. Anyway.
You have ADD? What is that about? Add? I like multiplication better.
So, June 12th, we got a knock on the door. It was the police.
Nicest deputy.
He was so nice, and he was like, you have to vacate the premises.
And then you can come back for 10 days.
To get your stuff. Yeah. And Gabriel
I still want to
9.
talk about the thing you keep saying you knew the whole time. So she knew everything, but she never didn't say any of it. And of course, it's because I wasn't. Anyway, whatever. So
I just said I knew that when the Lord kept telling us to stand, that I knew that that did not mean that He was going to work out the mortgage.
Well, you said you knew it wasn't going to work out.
No, I said I knew that it meant that it just because the Lord told us to stand didn't mean that He was going to work it out the way we wanted Him to work it out.
Okay, so clearly on some level, everybody knows that. But at the same time, we were not that spiritually advanced then. I'm just saying.
I guess I was.
Okay, how many Cadbury crib eggs have you had?
2.
Where are they?
I hid them.
You hid them. Good job. We got 90 one time. I got them for $0.25 a piece. Anyway, today we didn't do a good deal. But anyway. That was not 16 years ago. That was like 5 years ago, right down here.
I was thinking when I was pregnant with Joe's.
Don't you remember I got 90 of them? That was not that long ago.
That was not okay.
Anyway, all I'm saying is the stand part was for people who had not been in the faith much at that moment, we had been in the faith greatly before, but we felt led away from the things that we were going to go to India. We were going to go to this and do different things in ministry, what we could thought of as ministry for the most part, even though we knew lay ministry or ministry in the work world or whatever you call it was verifiable and real. Right. In our mind, it was more about the outward version, which we also recognize still, but so I feel like that's part of the reason that we left the church, so to speak. Yeah. And we went on my Facebook, it says studied theology at the work world. So I worked all day and night, and Gabe was like, where do you live? Okay. So because I worked a lot, but eventually I guess, because there was, before Caleb was born, you had we heard about the babies getting in line to be born again if they are miscarried or something like that. Yeah. And that led to Caleb being born, that led up to Caleb being born. And so God was he was pinching that season off and bringing us into a new one. And he wasn't bringing it in with like, here's a cake and here's your tiara.
Are you talking about like the end of the 7-year thing?
Yeah, I'm saying he pinched a loaf, kind of.
So I was pregnant with Caleb. And you may or may not know this, I don't know. I was pregnant with Caleb. And I was in the shower. And it's like the Lord just flooded me with his presence. And I was like,
oh yeah, I know this.
Don't ever do that to me again.
I never thought, I didn't, so she always tells a story, and so I didn't need that part or experience it. It was more like, let's quit screwing around and let's quit screwing around and go back to what we know we should be doing.
We're using this, what's this called, a gimbal?
Yeah.
It's Gabe's gimbal. We don't really know how to do it. So every once in a while it just goes, plump.
It gets tired of what we're talking about.
Oh, there we go. That's better.
But yeah, but I think it's excellent and beautiful that her feeling of it was that we didn't have any of these experiences and the presence of God was removed. And then it ended with a season of him coming back in and her recognizing that he was still there. She had just been without him. That thing don't like me talking. I think the batteries, we should probably...
It's doing like some weird thing.
It's dead. That's what it is, I'm pretty sure.
Should we just cut it and say?
No. Hold on. I don't think we need to cut it.
Well, it could just be like, because I'm a girl and you're a guy, so it just like we process things differently. It could just be our relationships different. Right there, see the plug? See, we out here.
See, we've been watching Justin. What's Justin's last name? I forget.
Bieber?
No, from Morning Star. That used to be at Morning. Perry. We've been watching Justin Perry's recordings, but we don't have a palette. We should get a palette and put it behind us.
Honey, you plugged it in. No, it's not. It's not doing anything.
Here.
It's not plugged in over there.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah. So Jesus has walked into my room 3 times.
We'll talk about the first one.
We're not going to talk about the first one right now. That's a whole other story.
You got to pay for the tapes. No, I'm just kidding.
No, that's like fans only. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
You got to go out to Indian
We're
buffet
gonna have
with
to
us.
edit that. Baby, it's not working.
Here.
We're just going to cut it off. We'll just say bye. We'll have part 2 later.
No, hold on.
Okay.
Here.
No, it's not turning on.
Here, let me see.
It's just gonna fall.
Here. Wonder what it's doing. There, let go and see what it does.
It's not gonna work.
Hold on.
You know we're not gonna edit this out. Okay.
Let it go now, see what it does. Okay, it's almost there.
It's flipped around. See the backpacks and the kombucha.
We're not on drugs. We quit that a long time ago.
30 years ago.
12, 24.
All right.
No, I don't know. I
We'll
really
just
don't.
pause it.
Part 2 will be continued. Or this part will be continued in part 2. And I'm looking over here. Where's the thing? Right there. Part 2 will be. Yeah.
Just stop it.
Bye.